hasn't been summer whatsoever, so it's quite
very
nice.
True.
Yeah. All right. Hey guys, welcome to another one of our awesome live sessions where we spend about an hour with you just discussing about traveling in New Zealand and helping you plan the best trip possible in New Zealand. But why are we the best people to do that, Laura?
Well, let me introduce us. This is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide. And it's absolutely free for you guys to use online. You know, just type NZPocketGuide. Don't do that. Type NZPocketGuide.com and you will have the complete New Zealand travel guide right at your fingertips. There's all sorts of information there, from planning a 2-week camper van road trip around New Zealand to even if you're spending a whole year on a working holiday and you need advice on how to get jobs and all that sort of thing. We have all that information on there too. But if you're not really into reading, we also do this live Q&A session every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So just so you know, for the times around the world, in Europe, that is around 8 or 9 p.m. on a Saturday evening. In the US, that is on a Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. EST or 11 a.m. PST. And on a Sunday morning, bright and early in India, that is at 12:30 a.m. or in Australia is at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning as well. So what we do throughout the week is when you guys have any questions that you put in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos, we collect that pool of questions together. You can put that down now. We collect that pool of questions together so we can also go through those during this live Q&A session. So if you do have any questions and you miss our live Q&A session, be sure to put them in the comments of any of our videos and we'll make sure to go through those as well. But obviously the best place to get your question answered is in the live chat right now on the live session. So go ahead. If you have any questions about traveling in New Zealand, just pop in right now.
All right, so we're going to start with a few people that left us some messages. So Munkadozin says, hi, I'm going to visit New Zealand in March and try to get around without driving. Are there any good ride-sharing apps or sites for backpackers? And is it safe? Thanks, Eva from the UK. So Eva, it's actually very easy to travel New Zealand without a car. So before even talking about ride-sharing apps or website, the first thing I want to mention is buses. There are a ton of buses around New Zealand, from the hop on hop off, such as Kiwi Experience or Stray, to and even Flying Kiwis. And there is also the kind of big network buses, which is called Intercity. It's really cheap. It's going to get you almost everywhere you want to go, so you don't have to worry at all about that. Now, to find ride sharing, the best thing you can do is to actually find Facebook groups. So Facebook groups are really good for that. We do manage 2 of the largest Facebook groups for backpacking in New Zealand. So you just have to type Backpacking New Zealand on Facebook and you'll find them. You just answer a few questions and we accept you in a group. And everybody kind of say, hey, I'm going from, Taupo to Rotorua, and I'm going on the 27th. Someone want to join in and pitching for petrol. And it's very, very easy. Now, I know that usually pitching for petrol means between $10 and $20 that you give to people, and it's about the same price than the bus. So if you want the safety of knowing at what time it's going to go, you can take the bus as well. But it works very well, and there is thousands and thousands of people that organize ride sharing on Facebook groups every single week. So no issue at all with that. You do not need an app or, there is no good apps for that in New Zealand.
Apps have sort of come and gone in New Zealand, but there's no app that's really hit it off and people actually use. So, that's why Facebook groups tend to be the one that people use at the moment. And while people on Facebook groups do list when they are, traveling from A to B and say, does anyone want to grab a lift? You can also work that the other way. So if you're looking for a ride share and you're saying like, hey, you can post on those groups saying, hey, is anyone going from here to here in the next couple of weeks? Let me know, type thing, willing to pitch in for petrol, that sort of thing. And you can work it that way as well.
Yeah, so it's very easy and you shouldn't worry at all about traveling in New Zealand without a car. We also have Anju AK that say, hey, dear friends, with a lovely heart. Hey, dear friends. Today I got mail from NZ Immigration Office. They rejected my visa application. Oh, too bad. We don't know much about why immigration does that, but it does happen. And yeah, we're very sorry to hear that. All right, so if you guys have any questions for us in the meantime, just make sure to put them in the comments below. In the meantime, we are going to go through some questions that we received in the last few weeks on YouTube, and we'll cover everything.
Yeah.
So let's get started with an itinerary. There's been a long time we haven't done our trusty map. Can you move your ass a little bit away so we can put the map?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so it comes from Raghav Rungta. And he says, "Hi team, I love your videos on YouTube. I'll be going to New Zealand the last week of March for 12 days approximately for my honeymoon. If possible, can you suggest me an itinerary? I am planning to visit the South Islands. I am also confused whether a day cruise to Milford Sound will be enough or should I take the night cruise. Lastly, I am thinking whether drive for the entire trip will be too tiring and we should only take it for part of the trip. My budget for the trip is approximately 5,500 New Zealand dollars other than flight. And we are looking for a leisurely trip with not too many activities other than skydiving in Queenstown or French Joseph. Thanks in advance." Grab the map. Okay. Grab the map. Okay, so Raghav, you want to treat your lady to an awesome honeymoon in New Zealand.
Are you going to say the locations?
I will say all the location. So you want to focus on the South Island, which is a great idea, and you want to spend just under 2 weeks, so about 12 days. Perfect. All right, so day one, you're going to start in Christchurch, and you're going to head to Kaikoura. And then you're going to spend the day in Kaikoura, and then you're going to head to Nelson. After Nelson, you're going to go, actually, you're going to enjoy the Abel Tasman National Park, but then after, you're going to go to Punakaiki. And we will go through every single one of those spots and give you some example of things you can be doing and everything. So from Punakaiki, you're going to go to French Joseph, since you're planning on doing a skydive there. Great choice, by the way. Then you're going to head to Wanaka. Then you're going to go to Queenstown. And then you're going to head toward Mount Cook. And then you're going to go to Geraldine along the way. Here you go.
Okay.
All right, and you'll be back right in Christchurch. All right, let's change the color of pen and let's talk about everything. So the first thing that we're recommending you is to start your trip in Christchurch. The reason why we think you should start your trip in Christchurch is because you're going to get the most choices for car rental and for all the transportation there. So if you make your way to Christchurch, you'll be sweet. Also, the flight between Auckland to Christchurch, because since you're coming from overseas, you're probably going to be landing in Auckland. And the flight between Auckland and Christchurch, if you book them early enough, and if you book them separate from your flight from, wherever you're from, like USA or France or India, if you fly from Auckland to Christchurch, they're probably going to charge you $1,000. But from India to Christchurch, they're going to charge you $1,000. If you fly from Auckland to Christchurch, they may charge you $1,300. But if you fly from from India to Auckland, that's $1,000, and then from Auckland to Christchurch, that's $50. So you just save $250.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Anyway, get your ass in Christchurch and then start enjoying your trip there. From Christchurch, you're going to head to Kaikoura. So you just pick up your car in Christchurch. You are only a 12 days, so we don't recommend you spend too much time in Christchurch, especially since you're going to finish your trip there. So you pick up your car and you drive to Kaikoura. The drive is not too long to go to Kaikoura, but man, there is so much to do over there. It's a really amazing place. If you feel like doing an activity right out of the batch, I strongly recommend going to do whale watching. You can see some amazing whales. It's fantastic. And also it's not too tiring of an activity as well to do, which is really cool. There is also seal swimming, which I thought was one of the best activities we've done in New Zealand. I really did love that. But otherwise, there is some really nice walkways where you can see seals, beautiful coastline. It's just an amazing town to spend time in. And there is some phenomenal food as well. After that, you're going to drive to Nelson.
Okay, on your way up to Nelson, you might want to just stop in a place called Blenheim. Over there, it is the Marlborough region, and it's really famous for the wine. Like most of the wine that's produced in New Zealand comes from the Marlborough region. So since you're on your honeymoon and you might be looking for some more romantic things to do, you could go and do a bit of wine tasting in the Blenheim area. And then after that, making your way to Nelson, which is known for being one of the sunniest cities in New Zealand. So enjoy the nice weather there. There is a nice beach nearby. You can, take a romantic walk on the beach. But another good reason to spend some time in the area is because of the Abel Tasman National Park, which it's about a 45-minute to an hour drive from Nelson. But over there, that is where you'll find some of the best beaches in New Zealand, with beautiful golden sand, backed with like amazing.
That sounds romantic.
Yeah, backed with amazing forest. You can either go for a bit of a walk there. There is the Great Walk, which you don't actually have to do the entire 5 days. You can just head in and do like a little bit of a walk and head back out again. There's lots of water taxi services taking you to different sections of the walk if you want to do just a day trip, or you can do all sorts of different activities there. I know you said you don't want to do too many crazy activities, but just so you know your options, you can also go sailing, kayaking, that sort of like water activities over there. So that's a good reason to go to Nelson.
Then after that, from Nelson, so you can spend 1 or 2 days in Nelson. Just see, with all the activities that we give you right now, just think how many days you want to spend on each point, and you'll be kind of sweet. But then we are advising you to go to Punakaiki. So along the drive, you can check out the Nelson Lake, which is absolutely Nelson Lakes. Sorry. Which is really phenomenal. You see all those lakes with the jetty, and that's why you take all those pictures with reflective lake, mountain in the background, just one person on the jetty. Like it's just going to be amazing for your Facebook.
Yeah.
So check out the Nelson Lake along the way. It's kind of a really nice pit stop, and finish your day in Punakaiki. This is where you have the blowholes and the pancake rocks. So the pancake rocks are kind of limestone formations, which looks like a stack of pancake. It's really awesome, and there's some big beautiful blowholes as well. So when the waves are coming and crashing, you guys see the water kind of sprouting out of the holes. It's really awesome.
It's best to see that at high tide. So if you can sort of time your trip to go at high tide, that's when you get to see the best blowhole action.
Yeah. So it's a very easy kind of little walk. I'd say it's 15 minutes, no more.
Yeah.
It's all like paved and everything. Like you can't. It's just
too easy.
Yeah,
it's
too easy.
You don't even class it as an activity. It won't take hardly any time or energy out of your day. It's just a really nice place to go and check out. But also in Punakaiki, there is a little cavern there. And by the way, most of the stuff that we're talking about in this for this itinerary, we actually have videos on. So if you type the destinations of each of the places we're talking about into our YouTube channel, you can actually check out all this stuff that we've done for firsthand. So see if it's your thing.
Yeah. And so then we recommend you drive down to Franz Josef. Why Franz Josef? Because you said you want to skydive there. And we also think it's one of the best places in the country to skydive. But not just that, there is also some amazing glacier hot pools. It's super romantic, super nice. You can even actually hire private hot pools. So you have your glacier hot pool private for you, just you and your newlywed wife. It's just awesome. You're going to love it.
Yep.
So it's a really great place. You can also check out the Kiwi Bird Recovery Center, where you're going to be able to check out those kiwi birds and actually see them, which is quite rare. And yeah, some nice little stroll around. There's some beautiful lakes. If you feel like doing something else, there's glacier kayaks where you can go kayaking on a lake, which is like super beautiful with all the mountains in the background and everything.
Yeah.
So
and you go in double kayaks,
yeah,
so you can really test your relationship, see if you work together well in a double kayak.
If you do test your relationship during your honeymoon, it's a little too late.
Yeah, maybe that's an activity to do before you get married.
Just make sure you go. Like I think that should be a relationship advice before you get married with anyone. Go on a double kayak trip. If it goes well,
they're the one.
If it doesn't go well, just cut it off. Save yourself some money and some time. All right, so then we're going to drive all the way to Wanaka. Wanaka is probably one of the most romantic places on the South Island. Yeah,
Wanaka is really known for its scenery, particularly around Lake Wanaka. You can go and see the famous Wanaka tree and get a photo of that. If you haven't heard of what the Wanaka tree is, just simply Google Wanaka tree and you will find there's just a lonely tree in the lake that lots of people take photos of. Also in Wanaka, it's more of a good place to relax. Since you said you didn't want to do too many activities, Wanaka's kind of like it's just a really nice town where you can get some good food, do a bit of shopping, that sort of thing. There's a really funky cinema there. So if you want to go to like a boutique cinema and get some freshly baked cookies in the interval and stuff like that, then that's the sort of thing Wanaka does. Also,
It's just about strolling by the lake, let's be honest.
it is. If you wanted to do some activities, there's definitely things to do there. It's another place you can skydive. There's a thing called Wild Wire where you go up this Via Ferrata course.
Via Ferrata?
Via Ferrata course. It's been a while since we did that tour. I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, it's a really cool like climbing on a like sort of high wire course with with ladders and stuff in precarious places, going up some really high waterfalls, that sort of thing. So that's a really cool action activity you can be doing if you are desperate to do some more activities. Because I feel like once you start traveling around New Zealand, there's a lot of really tempting stuff to do. So if you do feel tempted by that, then that's a really fun thing.
Yeah, but then you head to Queenstown. And this is where you're going to be able to go do your Milford Sound tour. So we recommend you spend a few days in Queenstown, maybe a couple of days in Queenstown. The town itself is pretty romantic. It's really cute, quaint little town with so much to do. But you also can head to Milford Sound. And you ask us if you should do the day tour in Milford Sound or stay overnight. And we recommend you just do the day tour.
Yeah, especially with just 12 days on your itinerary and you obviously want to pack a lot in. You can really experience Milford Sound just in a day. You obviously get to, when you're on the cruise, you get to see quite a lot. You get to, see some amazing sights. The night tour, it just basically adds, it just adds a little bit more time there. You get to sort of experience Milford Sound when it's a bit quieter because obviously it is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the whole of New Zealand. So when you go there in the day, obviously there's loads of cruises going. You see a lot of other tourists there. But unfortunately, with only 12 days in the South Island, you don't really have the luxury to sort of experience that. So you should just go for the day trip, get to see it for yourself, and you get a really good cruise in there. And then the drive, if you're taking a bus tour and stuff, you get to sort of relax and take in all the amazing scenery on the way there, because going to Milford Sound isn't just about Milford Sound itself. The whole journey to get there is absolutely stunning. So yeah, you'll definitely still have an amazing experience even if you just go for the day.
Yeah. And yeah, so then there's plenty of other things to do in Queenstown. So definitely keep yourself a couple of days for there, because it's always one of very high-rated stop for people traveling around New Zealand. But you have to get back on the way, and so you have to hop on the road and make your way toward Mount Cook. So Mount Cook is New Zealand's tallest mountain. It's an absolute stunning area, and it's very romantic because it is in the heart of the New Zealand Dark Sky Reserve. That means that there is very little light pollution there, and the night skies are absolutely mind-blowing. Seriously, really fantastic night skies. So you're going to see stars and thousands and millions of stars in the sky, just phenomenal. They have some tours over there where you can do actually stargazing tours where they can explain to you all the different constellations and have some really big equipment that you can look in and you can see so many, objects in the sky. It's just really cool. It's really awesome. So yeah, it's definitely a really amazing place. But you can just grab yourself a nice little drink, and look at the stars with your lover, and it's going to be awesome as well.
Yeah.
Mount Cook is also a great place to do heli hiking. So that's when you go on a helicopter and then you hike on a glacier. And Mount Cook will take you on top of the Tasman Glacier, which is the longest glacier in New Zealand. So it's quite awesome. There is also some amazing scenic flight that you can just go. And there is one called Mount Cook 360 where you basically just go around the area. Kind of you do a 360 basically around. And you see the whole Southern Alps. It's phenomenal. It's mind-blowing sceneries and one of the cheapest scenic flights in the country. So that can be quite good.
Yeah.
And then you hop back on the road and you go all the way to Geraldine, or if you want to save some time, you can go all the way to Christchurch.
Yeah, right. So if you do have time to go to Geraldine, then there's two sort of main activities you can do in the area. One of them is whitewater rafting. So if you're looking to experience some of that adrenaline New Zealand is famous for, then they do have a grade 5 whitewater rafting trip there, which is like the highest commercially rafted rating, the most epic type of whitewater rafting that you can do.
Can you say epic one more time?
Yeah. So, and that's with the Rangitata rafts. And yeah, that is if you're looking to really like scare yourselves or really just experience an adrenaline rush together, then that's a really awesome place to go. But alternatively, there is another really awesome activity you can do, which is Peel Forest horse trekking. You can, it's quite a romantic thing to do, going horse trekking and seeing your lover on a noble steed trekking through the forest.
I don't think I look like a lover on a noble steed when I do horse trekking. I'm like, I hope this horse is not going to kick me out.
Yeah, we have also actually done both of these activities again, so you can watch the videos on YouTube of us doing it, and you probably don't think we look like we're riding a noble steed, but anyway, it's quite a cool way to sort of experience some of the scenery. You get to horse trek up high onto a hill, stop for a bit of a drink because they pack you up a bit of a packed lunch and stuff, see the amazing scenery around. It's a more relaxed way, but something different to do to experience the landscapes of New Zealand.
Laura is still looking for her Prince Charming. You can clearly see that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And obviously around Geraldine, there is also, and it's the same thing everywhere, right? There is a lot of free little walks to do around. Some of them are longer, like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, and some of them are shorter, which just about half an hour. So you get plenty of really awesome hike. And then you get back to Christchurch. Now, if you have a little bit of spare time in Christchurch, it's actually called the City of Gardens because there's so many beautiful gardens around Christchurch. So it's a really cool and romantic town, especially in the heart of Christchurch. There is a main garden there. What's the name? Botanical. Christchurch Botanic Garden. It's really phenomenal. So many different flowers. You're going to love it and take a million pictures there. There's even lots of fountains and everything. You're going to absolutely love that. And there is a free museum nearby as well. So it's a great place to kind of just relax after done all that and then fly back home.
Yep.
So that's our take for honeymoon, our kind of romantic or lovers itineraries for just under a couple of weeks in the Southern. I hope that it's going to be helpful to you, Raghav, in planning your trip to New Zealand. I think that we did fit quite a lot of really awesome stuff. And I think that doing that, allowing you to do all this, will work well for you. We think that you should actually rent a car for the whole time because otherwise you're not going to be able to hit all those points. And hopefully that's helpful to you, man. If you do have any follow-up questions, make sure to put them in the comment of this video. If you do have a question of your own and your name is not Raghav, you can put your question in the comment of any of our videos and we'll be super happy to answer them for you. And if you want to say thank you for all our hard work, make sure to click like or subscribe. It's just a free way to say thank you for all our hard work. So the little like button, it just says, yeah, Robin and Laura, you do a good job. All right, let's go back to the live chat. So Brad Young says, good morning. Good morning, Brad. He says, I have a question about traveling to Milford Sound from Queenstown. We should be traveling there in December, and my family would like to do the Milford Sound cruise, but would also like to do the Key Summit Trail in Milford Sound as well. Is it possible to travel to Milford Sound by the bus tour, or do they immediately drive you back from the cruise and do not allow for hiking? I looked online, but couldn't find anything on the bus tour if they allowed for hiking Milford Sound in addition to the boat cruise. That's a really good question. And the Key Summit, just if you guys don't know about it, the Key Summit is about a 3 to 4
hour hike. Yeah. If you, it's a very steep hike. So although it's quite short in distance, you are going uphill for the entire time. So usually it takes quite a while for people to get up to the top. And when you get up there, you want to spend some time taking in the views because it is a really amazing hike. You get to see some amazing scenery, but definitely you do need to allow for 3 hours to get up there, enjoy the views and come back down again.
Yeah, usually, I mean, quite often when you see the sign on the Department Conservation website or just at the beginning of the hike, and you say 3 or 4 hours, you usually think it's about 2 hours, and it's quite often the case, but this one is not. The Key Summit is quite spot on for 3 hours for most people.
Yeah.
I mean, some people run it like fast and they do it faster, but as you know, as a normal kind of walker, tourist, visitor, it is, and even for us actually, it takes about 3 hours because it is very steep.
Yes. So to answer your question though about taking the bus and being able to do a Milford Sound cruise and the Key Summit walk, unfortunately there would be no bus tours that would allow you to do that because they all sort of follow the same route, especially from from Queenstown, where they go to only short walks. So they only go to the walks that the buses choose. And these walks include the Mirror Lakes, the Chasm, for instance. They will stop for some just quick photo stops along the way, but they definitely won't even have time to stop to allow you to do the Key Summit hike, which, like we said, is about 3 hours.
So to give you an idea, right, the bus tour is already between 10 to 12 hours long, right? You pick up around 7 in the morning and you're back in Queenstown between 5 and 7, right? So it's very long. And because there is a lot of driving, there is a lot of stop along the way, and obviously you want the time for the cruise. So there is not much leeway around that, and that's why you won't find any company that will allow you to do that, because delaying it by 3 hours will mean that you have the rest of the bus tour that's waiting for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And also that means they'll be back, in the middle of the night, and that just wouldn't work. So the only way to do Key Summit is actually to stay around Milford Sound overnight. And there are a couple of options to stay in Sound overnight.
Yeah, so there's a few sort of remote accommodations. One of them is Guns Camp. This is a really cool sort of cabin style accommodation. For instance, they switch off electricity past 7 p.m. They're quite old school, but it's a really quirky place to go and stay. But this is a place that you'll have to go and stay either with one of the hop on hop off buses like Stray, or you go with your own vehicle, your own car or camper van, and you can stay there as well. Alternatively, there is Milford Sound Lodge, which is actually the closest accommodation to Milford Sound.
And therefore to the start of the Key Summit track.
Well, the Key Summit track is actually at the place called the Divide car park, which is on the way to Milford Sound. It is not close to Milford Sound whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's the closer. Is it Guns Camp's closer? Oh,
Guns Camp is probably a little closer to Key Summit.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't think the difference is that big, but maybe you're right. Interesting.
So where the Key Summit hike is, it's about it's maybe about a half an hour's drive from Milford Sound, I'd say. Guns Camp will be a little closer. I don't think the difference will be major. I mean, there's only really 2 accommodations to choose from. So you have Milford Lodge, which is nearby Milford Sound, or you have Guns Camp, which is near the Hollywood track, if you wanted to look that up, which is maybe about half an hour away from Milford Sound. Alternatively, you can camp. So there's lots of Department of Conservation campsites. So if you have your own tent or camper van, you can go to those campsites. But yeah, the Key Summit hike, unfortunately, that is something that you have to be able to do more independently with your own vehicle, is probably the best advice we can give you for that.
Yeah, so the best way to do the Key Summit track is either you decide to go to Milford Sound by yourself and spend the day there, and you make it a really big day, meaning that you drive all the way down to Milford Sound, you do the cruise, then you're on your way back up, you stop at the start of the Key Summit track, and then you do the Key Summit track, and then you drive yourself back out of Milford Sound. That would be a really, really, really long day. I mean, we've done days like that, and we survived them, but that'd be a very, very long day and not suitable for everybody. But the other option that you can be doing, Brad, is actually booking yourself an accommodation either in Guns Camp or Milford Sound Lodge. We're still debating which one is the closest, but I think Laura's right. I think it's Guns Camp. So you book yourself your accommodation, you drive yourself there, so you have your own vehicle, and then you drive yourself at the start of the track, and then you do your track, and then you go to do the cruise, and then you go back to your accommodation, and then you drive the day after, because that would be a really long day. But that would be the way to organize a hike on the Key Summit track in Milford Sound. And also, that will also give you the freedom to decide to do it whenever you want. Like sunrise, sunset would be phenomenal there as well. So that may be a good way to kind of time this one and just try to have the best experience going up the Key Summit. So, if you want to do that much, if you're planning that far ahead, you're telling us, right now it's January, you're telling us you're going to go in December. If you're planning 1 year ahead to do that, that's probably because you really want the best experience. So I will actually try to time it that way, and I will try to actually do it at sunrise. That will involve waking up quite early, because that means you want to be around the top by sunrise. So that means you consider, because it's about 2 hours up and about an hour down, so that means that you need to start hiking at least 2 hours before sunrise. which not all your family members are going to love, I'm pretty sure. But hey, what the hell. So that would be our way to kind of do the Kissimmee track, and you won't be able to fit that into any of the bus tours that leave either Queenstown or T&O for the short answer. I mean, we don't do short answers here. Anyway, if you do have a question of your own and your name is not Brad, put them in the comment below right here. If you are watching us right now live, put them in the live chat right now. We're always happy to help. And obviously, if you guys want to say thank you for all our thorough work and all our hard work and everything else, click the like button. And that's a great free way for you guys to say thank you for all our hard work. And obviously, much more information on nzpocketguide.com. Everything we say here, there's about 10 times more information on the website. All right, let's go back to live chat. Coti Pasadore. I like that name. Coti Pasadore say, hello from Uruguay. Thank you so much for all the work you have done and continue to do. You are awesome. Oh, thank you so much. It's mostly Laura, let's be honest. I just read questions and pick her brain. And she says, I was reading on your site about things to do in Auckland, and you recommend the Coast to Coast walk. Would you recommend another walk to do in Auckland as well? Yeah, of course, there's plenty. You do like Mount Eden, right? No, Mount
Eden. So that's actually on the Coast to Coast walk. So instead of, if you maybe don't have time to walk the entire Coast to Coast walk, then
it's the best part.
Yeah, probably the highlight of that whole walk is going up Mount Eden, which is one of the volcanic cones in Auckland, and it has really cool views of the Auckland city skyline, as well as Rangitoto Island out in the water just beside Auckland. And yeah, it's just a really cool place to go and check out. You can see sort of the crater of this volcanic cone, which is now all covered in grass, which kind of looks a bit weird, but yeah, it's a fun place to go check out. And you can either drive to the bottom of Mount Eden and walk up, and it will take you only about 10 or 15 minutes, or you can even drive all the way to the top, but that's not exactly a walk.
Another similar one is One Tree Hill.
Yeah, so again, that's another volcanic cone in Auckland, but this one's more in a sort of larger park area, so there's a little bit more to explore there. They usually have a few farm animals knocking around, so you can go check out some cows and sheep or whatever they have there at the moment.
And there is probably what is my favorite walk to do in Auckland, but you have to spend a little money on it to take the ferry, and that's Rangitoto Island.
Yeah, so Rangitoto Island, what I just mentioned, where you went up to Mount Eden and you can see this island in the distance. Well, you can actually take a ferry from downtown Auckland, right in the city centre, over to...
It's about $20. Just so you know.
I think it's about 30.
Oh, really?
30 now, yeah.
Well, when I was young, it was 21. It's about $30 then.
Yeah, so you just take the ferry over to this, it's the youngest volcanic island in the Auckland area. So it's got loads of lava fields on it. It's got lava caves you can go and explore. Beautiful forest as well, where you can out some amazing New Zealand birds. And again, when you get to the top, you can get some awesome views of Auckland and the surrounding Hauraki Gulf, which is basically the body of water that is next to Auckland.
So if you consider, if you consider spending $30, which is really cheap, you get the ferry, so you get on the water, you get some like a nice little cruise around the Auckland Harbour, and you also get like lava field, lava caves, native forest, amazing amount of birds, and it's an easy walk to go all on top of the volcano. You see the whole crater, you see the whole skyline, you see all the islands around. It's just, you just get to do so much, and it's only about like you can do about half a day or a full day, right? But just that, there's nothing else in Auckland that would get you to do that much for so little. So that's why that, despite the fact that, well, it's not a paid walk, technically it's a free walk, but you have to pay for the ferry. But as a paid activity, I always recommend this one. I genuinely love that walk. So
absolutely.
Coti, if you do have the chance to do that one walk, you're absolutely going to love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to live chat. Brad say, thank you for your thorough answer. Yeah, Brad, we end up always kind of, talking a lot about, we love what we do, right?
Yeah.
So we always kind of
we
like
go a
to
bit
be
over the top.
Yeah. And if you want to check nzpocketguide.com, which is where we actually write our travel guide, there's even more information. That's to tell you.
Yeah.
Darile Cabrera. Oof, I'm just destroying all your name.
I imagine what you're saying. It sounds nice anyway. I hope it's correct.
It's just hi, amazing couples. Yeah, hi. How are you doing? And Christina Holden says, thank you for all that you are doing with this channel. My husband and I are booked to come on October 21st, arriving on the 23rd. We are in Canada. Yeah, that's a bit of a journey to come all the way from Canada. And we are there for 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks from Canada to New Zealand. And she says, we are planning on going south to north. Good. You probably watched our video. Flying down to Queenstown and starting from there. Any spot in Queenstown you will recommend? Free for the first day. We will be jet lagged. Oh, you want something free? And we are coming from Canada. Are you coming from Canada?
Yeah.
Okay, Christina, there is actually a lot of free things to do in Queenstown. Queenstown is expensive. There is a lot of paid activities, but there is also a lot of free things to do. But since you're going to be so jet lagged, honestly, you should just try to keep yourself awake to try to fight the jet lag and just do something kind of easy. So there's a couple of nice, easy walk that you can be doing.
Well, I was going to suggest, I suppose it's still easy, but you can walk up. So there's the Skyline Gondola, which is...
It's easy.
Yeah.
If you take your time, it's easy.
Yeah, so there's a Skyline Gondola, which you can get up onto the top of what's called Bob's Peak. You can either take the gondola or you can walk up there for free. And there is a walking trail right by the bottom of the gondola. And although it's a bit of a steep walk, it's not really too long. I think maybe takes an hour to half an hour to an hour at the most. So if you just take your time with it, but you're also
jet lag, we're going to say an hour and a half.
Yeah, but it's really good to do something active to sort of keep yourself awake, but also help wear yourself out a little bit to sleep at a proper time later. So we definitely recommend doing some exercise on your first day in New Zealand. So that's one thing you could be doing. And you can go up to the top of Bob's Peak, where maybe you can have a cheeky luge ride, which isn't too expensive.
No,
but
it's pretty cheap.
Yeah. So you could be doing that at the top, or just going around. They have like a viewing platform, so you can just get some really cool views of Queenstown. But it's sort of, there's a lot of walks that you can do around Queenstown. And if you go on NZPocketGuide.com, we do have an article which is called like the 15 free and cheap things to do in Queenstown. And we list all the free walks you can be doing there as well. Another walk you could be doing is Queenstown Hill, which is in a sort of suburb of Queenstown called Queenstown Hill, but you can walk there from the city centre. And again, it's a bit of a steep walk because it is going up a hill, but again, you get amazing views on the way there, on the way up. And yeah, it's just another way to do some exercise and keep yourselves awake. But if you don't really feel like going up a hill, then there's...
then you're in the wrong country. It's New Zealand. There's a lot of hills.
That's true. But but the Queenstown Gardens is a really nice place that you can access from the town centre. They have a walkway sort of lining the lakefront. So you can take a walk along the lakefront. It's pretty flat, easy going.
Bring a frisbee. Pack a frisbee in your bag, and you can do frisbee golf. In Queenstown
they have a frisbee golf course.
It's free.
Yeah. So, or you could hire yourself a frisbee disc from any of the sports shops. So there's that as well. And the walk actually, it goes around the Queenstown Gardens, but you can also continue it along the lake toward another suburb of Queenstown, and you can just walk as far as you feel like going and then come back. So yeah, that would be another easy sort of thing to do while keeping active and free as well in Queenstown. So yeah.
So it's important to stay active because you're going to be tired but wired up, so you won't be able to sleep. So you need to stay active and go to bed at a decent time, so 9 or 10 p.m. So then you get back to the normal kind of rhythm and you can go on the road and start enjoying yourself along the way. So here you go. I hope that helps. All right, Koti Pasadore says, great tips. Thanks again. You're welcome. And then Brad. Okay, so Brad Young says, another question if you have time. Of course we have time. We're here for an hour, so you get 20 more minutes to pick our brain. So go nuts on your keyboards, people. All right, so he says, we will be traveling in the Southland, but we are not going any more north than French Joseph Christchurch. So do you want to show people maybe like a quick... so it's not going any more north than that. Are there any other wineries beside Marlborough that you would recommend? So that would be... You're not going more north than that. And here you want a winery. So Brad, if you know how wine is made, you need some kind of warmer kind of weather, and this is a little bit cold. So I personally don't know of any wineries down here.
Well, Robin, that's where my expertise comes in.
Because my brewery is here. Wow, you know what? Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Okay, so my brewery is around here, and this is where you have some really amazing wine in New Zealand. Is there wineries here?
Yes, there is, because
it's hard. What?
Queenstown.
Oh, yes.
The Otago area.
Oh, no. What an
It's
idiot.
sort of like has its own little microclimate down here, where
there's a small area here.
Yeah, exactly. It's sheltered by mountains. So around the Queenstown area, also Cromwell, for instance, it's sheltered by mountains. So it has a microclimate, which means that typically in the summers it gets really hot there, and it is a wine growing region. So yes, if you're staying in Queenstown, for instance, there are wine tours that you can go on. For instance, they have sort of minibus tours taking you around to different wineries. It also means that if you're not driving yourself, you can drink as much wine as you want.
Yeah, if you want to watch us do, so we've done a lot of wine. We actually haven't done one in in the Otago area, but we've done wine tours all around. And definitely taking those minibus tours is so much easier because they will take you to multiple different wineries, and they will arrive at the time when they do free tasting in each of them. So it's so much easier. It's all like basically it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And you can take as many you can drink as many samples without being like, oh damn, I'm going to be above the limit and I can't drive, because I remember one time we counted during one of the tours.
We did 21 tastings.
Yeah, so 21 tastings of wine. That is a lot of different ones too, and I can tell you we were not ready to drive at all after that. We were ready to try to find some greasy, fat, fried food in order to soak it all up.
After you've done your wine tour, you can definitely go back to Queenstown and get yourself a Ferg burger. Yeah. But yeah, also there are bike tours as well. So you can hire bikes. They usually give you a map and sort of say where the wineries are. So there are some trails that connect the wineries. So you can do that as well. Also in Wanaka, there are a couple of vineyards in the area as well. And yeah, Cromwell and Bannockburn, that is close to Queenstown, and that's really well known for its winery. Alexandra, it's a little further south from Queenstown. That has a few wineries there as well. So if you go onto nzpocketguide.com and you type in, just literally in the search bar, type in wineries, you'll easily see like...
Do that tomorrow, by the way. The search bar is broken today and I'm working on it. Just saying, just don't be too upset, guys. Just give it about a day to fix the search bar. Otherwise, you can use the menu and find the article in that way. But the search bar on top, it's a little broken. And I apologize for this. I'm working on it.
So basically, if you go on nzpocketguide.com, and on there we do have articles, which is like basically the 10 best wineries in Queenstown, 5 best wineries in Wanaka, 10 best wineries in Cromwell. Like all those areas are south of Christchurch, and you'll have loads of options of wineries to go visit there.
Told you guys she was a smart one. Or maybe she's just the alcoholic one. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah. Here you go. All right. So what is happening? Christina Holden say, cool. Thank you so much for this. I knew we will need to get out. So this is wonderful info. Oh, wonderful info. I love that. Good luck from you saying Canada. I spent a bit of time in Canada. So yeah. Okay. Adam Clark say, is there any way to walk the Milford Sound track without booking several months in advance? Not in summer. In summer, you've got to book it.
And in winter, it's closed. So
so in the off season, you may get lucky. Like in the shoulder season, you may get lucky. But in winter, it's closed, and in summer, no. You definitely have to book it far in advance. There's even waiting list for people that drop out of the see if people cancel. So no, it is the most popular track in the country. So no.
Yeah.
I hate when no answer to your guys' question is just flat no, but no.
Yeah, it is obviously one of the most popular Great Walks, and it's mainly because it has that name, Milford Track. So people, it ends in Milford Sound, but you can experience Milford Sound definitely in a different way. But there are but for most of the walk, you are seeing scenery from the Fiordland National Park. And in fact, the Fiordland National Park has loads of different multi-day hikes that are definitely worth considering to do. Alternatively, like, don't try and go crazy trying to do the Milford Track when there's other ones that are just as good, but they're not as busy. So like look at your other options as well. There's the Kepler track, the Humpridge track, there's the Hollyford track. There's loads of other ones as well.
And
but
to be fair, most of those tracks, because they less people and the sceneries are still fantastic. I almost think they're better. I'm not a big fan of the Milford soundtrack. Honestly, it's just the Milford track. Sorry, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah,
just because it's a hassle. You know what I mean? And it feels like you have to make the most of it because it was just many months of preparation. Just do the other hike. It's just my honest opinion, right? I think you should do the other hike. If you want really to do the Milford track, go ahead. But yes, you have to book many months in advance. Sorry.
Yes.
I hate when no one says like the negative one, but that's the truth. David Burrows says, I will be flying from Chicago to Auckland later this year and then traveling around New Zealand. Do you have any tips for surviving the 16.5-hour flight? We actually have a video on the channel when we actually talk about that. But yes, we do have plenty of tips for you. So first up, check out that other video. So just type like long flight in the YouTube search bar of our channel. So, on the channel itself, you have a search bar. You can just type that, or just type long flight NZ Pocket Guide on the YouTube bar, and you'll be able to find it. But so first up, start acclimating yourself to the time of your destination. So when you're in Chicago, maybe a couple of days before, like 48 hours before your flight, put your watch at the New Zealand time. And try to start pushing yourself a little bit. So you go to bed a little bit earlier. I know it's going to be a pain, but like maybe the day before your flight, try to go to bed at like 4 p.m. It's a little bit early, but that just starts, start pushing your organic clock a little bit.
Clock.
Yeah, your body clock. Yeah, this one. Your body clock a bit forward. So that's really good. For sure. Don't get any alcohol in the flight. When the stewardess passes and say, "Oh, would you like something?" And you have wine and beer and everything, and it's all free. And you're like,
coffee as well.
No, water. Just stick to water. Nothing sugar. No, don't get a soda. Just water. That's so important. Get yourself comfortable. Make sure that you're not traveling with your biggest hiking boots and your thicker jeans and everything like that. Get yourself something you're really comfortable in the flight so you can get a couple of hours of sleep, which is quite important. But the most important thing that you can be doing is when you arrive in New Zealand, you're going to be tired. You're going to be a mess. And it's normal. Everybody is a mess when they land back. But this is when you actually need to get started. So you're probably going to arrive at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, right? And you're going to be all wired up and tired at the same time. So you will be exhausted, so you don't want to do anything, but you're going to be wired up, so you won't be able to sleep. But you need to be active. If you arrive during the day, you need to stay awake until 10 p.m., 9 or 10 p.m., so then you can get to bed and get back to a normal cycle. The fastest you go back to the normal cycle, the better it is. So if you arrive in the morning, get yourself busy. Go do some walks around if you're landing in Christchurch or in Auckland. Go do some walk in Auckland. We just talked about some great places to walk to and get yourself moving, actually physically moving. And if you arrive in the evening, make sure that you force yourself to go to bed. Don't look at your phone or any of those kind of things. Don't put the internet and make sure you tell everybody you arrive and everything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just go to bed. You don't wire yourself up. You turn off your phone. You sleep and you put your alarm clock. And you make sure that you wake up by like 8 or 9 in the next morning and you force yourself to sleep. No entertainment, nothing, because otherwise you're not going to be sleeping and you're going to keep yourself awake. And even if you're not sleeping, stay in bed with your eyes closed and try to force yourself to kind of rest. And you basically need to fight that internal body clock to get back to the New Zealand time. Super important. But there is much more information on the other videos that we did. So yeah, check this one out. All right, Sajid say kia ora. Talent Vizo says, hello, I want to travel from Auckland to Invercargill by train. Is it possible and how convenient is it? No.
There's no train network going to Invercargill. There are trains from Auckland, but that will only take you as far south as Christchurch. So, and
on top of it involves going to Wellington and take a boat.
There's a train down to Wellington. Then you'll have to take a ferry to Picton, and then from there you can take a train from Picton to Christchurch. But in terms of convenience, these trains only operate maybe 4-5 times a week. They're not very frequent in terms of how compared to other train networks around the world. They're kind of more for a scenic journey rather than a practical journey. And Invercargill is the southernmost city in New Zealand, so it's quite far from Christchurch. Maybe about 4 or 5 hours. So you can't take a train from Christchurch to Invercargill. You have to take one of the national buses if you're wanting to use public transport, or you can take a flight from Christchurch to Invercargill, or take a flight from Auckland to Invercargill, which there are sometimes some quite decent airfares.
I think you should take a flight.
Yeah, so Auckland to Invercargill, the best public transport you could probably take is going by plane.
Yeah. Sajid say, I want to travel to Nelson from Christchurch. Can you tell me which is the more cheap way, by flight or by bus? By bus.
Yes.
Definitely. Intercity buses, best option for you. Duane Gresh says, hey, that's been a while. How are you doing? Okay, so not a New Zealand exclusive question, but my flight there will be 25 to 35 hours, according to the flight I take, with multiple stops in different countries. What? That is way too long. There is no flight to New Zealand which is that long.
Oh, I think the flight from the UK for me was like 32 hours.
How cheap are you trying to get something that has 3 different stops?
That was one stop. That was one stop in the middle. It just takes that long. It's like 13. Oh, okay, maybe it wasn't that long.
Here you go.
Yeah, no, it
wasn't 35 hours. No.
It's kind of like 13 hours for the first flight if you're coming from Europe. Then you might have like a layover for about 3, 4, 5 hours or something, and then you have another like 12 hours or something if you're like going to, I don't know.
I think it's 20. I think it should be about 25 hours total. That way it should be.
Yeah,
not
maybe
35.
It should be more 25.
Anyway, so do you have any tips on any past lounge, if they would even be worth it? Okay, so the airport lounge are usually places that you pay an extra fee and you can go there. They usually have like a more private kind of restaurant, but you also have showers, you have beds and everything like that. So I have experience with those things, and I only recommend it if the airport itself doesn't already have those facilities for free. There are a lot of airports like Dubai and everything like that, which already have like public showers and everything like that you can use. And at that point, you really don't need the lounge stuff. It's a bit quieter and everything, and the couch is a little bit more comfortable and everything. But I never found that it was really worth the money. If you do have like what I've done sometimes is, I've stayed in lounges, but I did find it cheaper to get cheap hotel like nearby. You can actually literally go over there and sleep for 10 hours, or you can use the showers and everything in the airport itself, and you're pretty sweet with that. I'm not a big fan of the lounges, and especially since, for example, do not pay for the lounge in the Auckland airport, for instance. It is just laughable. So all those Koru lounge and everything, not worth it, in my opinion, at all, for the price that you pay and what you get out of it.
It's usually like $100 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just so expensive. I thought it was like, I think one time I got it for like $60 something. Anyway, it was absolutely ridiculous. I just thought it was ridiculous. But yeah, so most big international airport, they already have those things kind of set up for all travelers. You just have to find where they are. But if they don't, and you have a 10 hours layover, then maybe it would be worth it. If it's one of those big airports, which will have like really good facilities there. If it's more of a smaller place, nah, not really.
Yeah.
But it's just my personal opinion. Some people do really enjoy having a bit more privacy and the kind of exclusive feeling that you get.
They like being able to go and get some muffins and make themselves a hot beverage and stuff like that. But yeah, I suppose paying like however much for a few bits of food isn't really worth it.
Yeah, but like at some point you've got to try anyways. If you're staying if it takes you 35 hours to go from one place to other, you will be willing to pay anything and try anything to make it more comfortable for you. And that's literally how those things are staying in business. So it does make sense in some way. But yeah, just have a look on your flight. 35 hours seems like you're doing way too many stop along the way. It just seems wrong to me.
And
maybe I'm wrong.
Sometimes it is worth paying a little bit extra to take a flight which only has one stopover on the way to New Zealand. Like that's usually when you try and go too cheap with flights on the way to New Zealand, it ends up being really chaotic. It sort of
costs you more. It literally ends up costing you more because then you have to pay for the lounge for the
exactly.
You're better off paying more.
And also, like, it sort of gives you more ways things can go wrong. So when you've got if you're using different airlines and different, and stopping over like 3 or 4 times on the way to New Zealand, then
you lost your luggage.
Luggage is probably going to get lost. Like I feel like I've heard stories like usually when people
happened to me.
When people try and make it way too complicated to get to New Zealand, then it's just too much stress, really, and it's just not worth it. Not saving the extra maybe $100 or something just to stop, just to save a few dollars. But I think try and go as direct as possible to get to New Zealand, and you'll just find it's definitely worth the extra money.
Yeah. But that's our recommendation anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just our opinion, but
if for you, it was if you got a really, really good deal. Let's say you got a 200 flight to come to New Zealand. It takes 35 hours. That's worth it. That's definitely worth it. All right, guys. So we have only 3 minutes left with you. So if you want the quick fire questions, just go crazy. Here you go. Talent Mvizo says, how is it to get a backpacker jobs in Invercargill? We actually have a video about that on the channel, but in short, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's a really good town. There's a lot of students as well over there. So there's a lot of student jobs and backpacker style job. It's a great place to spend time in. So you're really gonna like Invercargill. Also, it's close to a lot of really amazing sceneries around, some amazing caves to explore, some amazing hikes. There's some great surfing over there as well. You're gonna need a wetsuit, but most of the surf school will hire that to you. But it's some really awesome place, and you're close to beautiful Stewart Island, which we'll really love, and has amazing wildlife. So definitely plenty of jobs and awesome stuff to do in Invercargill. So do not fret, you're gonna love it. All right. So I was saying, if you guys have some quick fire questions, just go crazy. We have another couple of minutes with you guys. Otherwise, we will be telling you about what we're doing today. We're going on a hike. And that's why we're all kind of dressed up and ready to go. We are going to be experiencing the best that New Zealand has to offer, with some waterfalls, some native bush, some rocky cliff, maybe some volcanoes as well. And it's going to be epic. We are all packed. We have enough water. We have sunscreen. We have all the stuff that we always tell you to pack. So everything that we tell you, we actually, we practice what we preach, basically. See, Laura is dressed with multiple layers of merino wools. Mm-hmm. So if she gets cold and wet, she has to be warm, and if it gets too hot, you can take off some layers.
We will have our rain jackets at the ready, just in case the weather does turn, even though it's blue sky absolutely at the moment, but where we're going is maybe about 45 minutes away from where we are, and the weather can really change on the way to somewhere. So it's always good to have just to have the backup of rain jackets and stuff like that, just in case.
Exactly. And so make sure that you guys are traveling safe and having fun on the road in New Zealand. Thank you again for joining us for another one of our awesome live session where we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. We will be back next week again at the same time. So it's 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which should be, and please tell us in the comment if we're wrong, but that should be around those times in your part of the world. So if you are in France or in the UK, it's on Saturday at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., depending on which of the country you're from. If you are in the USA, it's on Saturday as well, 2 p.m. EST and 11 a.m. PST, if I'm correct. And then in India, it's 12:30 a.m. in the morning, and we're very sorry about that. And in Australia, it's 6 a.m. on Sunday. And Rico von der Bergen says, which is better, Milford Sound or Doubtful Sound? We have a video about that where we talk about it and debate it for a good 10 minutes. But I personally prefer Milford Sound. Laura personally prefer Doubtful Sound. So here you go. And we have video of us trying them both. So if you want to check out our videos and see what we like about both and see us literally on location, and then you can decide which one you like the most. Check out the channel. So in YouTube right now, just type Milford Sound, NZ Pocket Guide, and then Doubtful Sound, NZ Pocket Guide. And you'll find all our videos about that. And but go to Milford, Rico. Go to Milford.
Go for Doubtful. Don't be doubtful about doubtful.
Oh, that is a pun. That's a Laura pun for you, ladies and gentlemen. And that brings our video to an end. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
See you next week.